ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today, this morning, to announce 3 program projects announced by our partners. 3 projects cover peace, security, and governance, institutional capacity building, and trade. The budget of these projects amount to about 110 million euro. We are grateful to these partners for the continued and multiple support, not only at the regional level, but also at individual country levels. We are equally appreciative of the support coming from island members of the European Union, other members of the European Union who are been cited in these 4 projects. Excellencies, the objectives pursued through these 4 projects are vital to Ecowas and Ecowas member states. The projects seek to strengthen regional peace and stability, as well as support institutional reforms and trade within the community of Ecowas. The projects align with ECOWAS strategic orientations in many ways. For example, the ECOWAS Peace, Security and Governance project seeks to strengthen the implementation of our peace security arrangements at not only the regional level, but also at the national level. And the project seeks to cover the whole conflict cycle, from conflict prevention, conflict management, and conflict resolution, to democracy and the protection of human rights. The project on institutional support to ECOWAS seeks to enhance the effectiveness, efficiency, and sustainability and the impact of the EU and multi-sector partnerships in the West African region. The Africa through Competitiveness and Market Access seeks to increase sustainable intra-African and extra-African trade. The project on African Continental Free Trade Area, the Trading Services component, on its part seeks to increase services liberalization and exports for selected services sector in the ECOWAS region. Excellencies, through various initiatives and programs such as the 10th and the 11th EDF and the Neighborhood Development and International Cooperation Instruments, LDC, the EU has been providing significant support to ECOWAS and ECOWAS member states in our search for development, while taking into account the need to support initiatives aimed at tackling increasing threats to peace and security in the region. Let me reiterate ECOWAS's appreciation for the envelope as 11.6 billion euro that EU has earmarked for the West African region within the framework of the NDG. We hope that these funds will be fully dedicated to funding projects and actions that are part of our priorities and emerging needs. We appreciate the commitment of the EU, ECOWAS, WIMO, and IGAD technical teams who have been working tirelessly at national, regional, and continental level to draft concept notes and technical papers to ensure that the NDG action captures the strategic priorities of the region. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, there is urgent need to strengthen Ecowas-EU cooperation and to continue to work together to address the challenges faced by the Ecowas region. Challenges such as terrorism, monetary, climate change, sustainable development through an equitable partnership. As we implement these projects, let us promote dialogue and avoid unilateral decision-making. The partnership advocated by NDG will only be balanced if it allows consultative and joint decision-making when it comes to actions involving the region, such as the choices of implementing agencies. May I use this occasion to congratulate the agencies and partners selected to help implement these projects, more specifically GIZ, AECID, UNIDO, Expertise France, FIIEPP. While you have our full confidence, may I urge that accountability be given priority. Excellencies, at this point, let me break from the written text and speak from my heart. As we implement these projects, let us focus on delivery to the people. Let us focus on concrete results on the ground. Let us reduce workshops. Let us reduce trainings. Let us reduce validation activities, validation workshops. When we recruit staff in these institutions, we normally recruit competent, highly trained, and highly educated people. So it beats the imagination of all of us to see the amount of resources we dedicate to training, and overtraining. I think we need to be frank as partners and focus on delivery on the ground, delivery to our people. The challenge we are facing as a region and as partners can be addressed if our people feel the impact of our collaboration. We should not reduce these partnerships to workshops, and webshops. I'm speaking from my heart, and I think it is time we start speaking this way. Excellencies, may I use this opportunity before I conclude to just give you one or two, to give you a short brief on our engagement with our brothers who have decided to leave Ecowas. As you forward online, on the 22nd of May, we had our first meeting at official level in 2 years. And this was a meeting between our team, the Commission, and the foreign ministers of Mali, the foreign minister of Niger, and Burkina Faso in Mali. That meeting followed the extraordinary council meeting in Accra, where the Ecowas contingency plan was reviewed and adopted. So the meeting in Bamako was a preparatory meeting for the negotiations that we seek to undertake with our brothers from the 3 countries. That was agreed in that meeting was the subject of a joint communique, which I believe all of you have looked at. We have agreed until we come to a new, we adopt a new agreement, we will maintain the status quo in all areas. Status quo in the area of trade, status quo in the area of free movement, and we will also continue to explore avenues of collaboration in the area of peace and security. So, Excellencies, yes, we have raised 3 members from Ecowas, but Ecowas has always been 400 million people, and the 400 million people will continue to enjoy free movement within this sub-region, and trade will continue within a space of 400 million people. Excellencies, this is the situation as I speak. Until there is a new agreement, we maintain the status quo. Of course, the institutional frameworks differ a little bit, but nothing changes for the ordinary person. And the whole objective is to ensure that the people of West Africa continue to benefit from the fruits of regional integration that has been built over the past 50 years. And finally, Excellencies, may I use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for joining us in Lagos. It was a great opportunity, and we were happy to see many of you there. An opportunity that marked ECOWAS's 50th anniversary in the presence of General Yakubu Gowon, a 90-year-old founding father of ECOWAS, and we were all honored by his presence, of course, alongside the chair of the authority, President Tinubu, and other heads of state, including President Fonyasinde, whose father was also one of the founding fathers of ECOWAS. So I thank you very much for this honoring our invitations, and I look forward to a more fruitful and a concrete implementation of these 4 projects that hold considerable promise for our people. I thank you for your attention.
Vicky, and aligned with the ambitious ambitions of the EU Global Gateway Initiative, these projects are designed to strengthen trade, competitiveness, improve market access, foster regional integration, promote peace and security, and enhance institutional capacity in West Africa. All of these being core priorities of ECOWAS as well. Today is also a special endeavor for Spanish cooperation, represented through the Spanish Agency for International Development Cooperation, IC, and the Spanish Public Foundation for the Internationalization of Public Administration, known as FIAP. It is a moment to reaffirm Spain's deep and enduring commitment to our alliance with ECOWAS, a long-standing cooperation program that began over 20 years ago, and it took a significant leap forward during the 2009 ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government held here in Abuja. Our collaboration has only grown stronger from that moment onwards, guided by a shared vision of democratic governance, institutional development, and sustainable public policy. Your Excellencies, this year we celebrate a historic milestone. 50 years since the leaders of the West Africa gathered in Lagos to lay the foundations of what they currently recognize as ECOWAS, a regional community that was born on the belief that integration, peace, and solidarity are the basis, the premises to lasting prosperity. Today, ECOWAS stands as a powerful example of this long-term vision. In a world facing growing uncertainty, This region continues to pursue its vision of a peaceful and prosperous area, governed by strong institutions that uphold fundamental freedoms and promote inclusive and sustainable development. A vision that resonates deeply with the values of the European Union, of which Spain has long been a member since signing of the Treaty of Accession 40 years ago this knows. This shared commitment is reflected in the projects we are launching today. Efforts built on years of joint experience and shared purpose by the Ecowas Commission, its institutions, and the European and multilateral development agencies represented here today. One example of this dialogue is the institutional strengthening of the Ecowas Commission in Cetu, co-financed by Spain through a contribution of €984 million alongside funding from the European Union and Germany's Brandstad, amounting a total of €7.4 million. This project is rooted in the principles of aid effectiveness, as set out in the Aqua Agenda for Action and the Design Partnership that aims to support Ecowas in reinforcing increasing coordination and improving the overall impact of its actions across the region to alleviate prosperity to its citizens. Peace and stability are the cornerstones of prosperity. That is why we are also proud of the involvement of Spanish institution, the FIA Foundation, that wins the auspices of our public administration to international cooperation on the implementation of the Ecowas Peace, Security and Governance EPSG project. This initiative reinforces Ecowas' capacity to address disinformation and political violence in electoral processes, challenges that affect democratic resilience across the globe. The FIA Foundation will support Ecowas in promoting innovative approaches and in building bridges between regional institutions and the civil society. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, these projects represent more than just financial commitments. They display new opportunities to deepen cooperation and to foster regional cohesion. They will create a stronger Ecowas that will deliver a greater community, better equipped to respond effectively to the challenges at present in order to build a brighter future for its African states, leaving no one behind. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the German government, I'm honored to launch with you 4 important Ecowas projects today. 3 are commissioned by Germany and co-financed by the European Union, underscoring the strength of our European partnership. This launch marks more than the start of 4 new projects. It reflects our shared commitment to trade, peace and security, and good governance in West Africa. It builds on a history of successful cooperation. Today's event is particularly meaningful as in 2025, ECOWAS celebrates 50 years of regional integration. Over the past 20 years, Germany has continuously supported ECOWAS and its member states in this process, and we believe that regional integration promotes economic development, political stability, inclusive societies, and environmental protection, amongst other things. Hence, we are honored to support ECOWAS Vision 2050 on building a citizen-centered community for peace and prosperity. The projects we launched today address different aspects of the Vision 2050. Our support to the ECOWAS Commission on Organizational Development prepares ECOWAS and EBID for EU pillar certification by enhancing internal processes and ethical standards. The peer certification helps Ecowas to mobilize financial resources and to use them effectively for realizing its Vision 2050. Another project severe to Ecowas in peace, security and governance responds to the region's complex security and governance challenges, from early warning and mediation to electoral support or inclusive peace building. These efforts are more relevant than ever, given the threat of violent extremism and unconstitutional regime in the region. Lastly, our project supporting the Ecowas Commission in the implementation of the AfCFTA, it helps unlock West Africa's potential in priority service sectors such as information and communication technology, financial, transport and tourism services. Trade and services is a key driver of employment and innovation and a powerful lever for economic transformation. In addition, countries that trade with each other are less likely to experience war or internal conflicts. The projects we launched today are a testament of a strong and coordinated German and European partnership with Ecowas. This launch today reaffirms our collective commitment to strengthening Ecowas' capacity to address the present challenges of our time. Germany is committed to partner with Ecowas and its member states in advancing our shared vision, a still democratic and prosperous West Africa. Therefore, we offer an integrated support through concrete projects addressing the regional and national and local levels of the Ecowas region. As Ecowas celebrates its 50th anniversary, today's launch serves as a unique commitment to our shared vision. By continuing to work together, Ecowas and its member states and international partners, we can build a strong future for the region. Thank you very much.
It is a great honor to be here today, and we're really privileged to take the stand after the contributions of my colleagues from the German and Spanish embassies. And the 4 programs we are launching today reflect the strength and depth of the partnership between the European Union and its member states, and I mean the Ecowas and its member states and the other one. And it illustrates the robustness of the Team Europe approach in the region, with important co-funding from Germany and Spain. Notably, they come at the time of the Ecowas' 50th anniversary, underlying the long-standing relationship between the EU and Ecowas, partying since 2006, both at the regional and country level. These programs, worth some 110 billion euros in total, aim at enhancing trade competitiveness and market access, boosting trade and services, improving peace and security, and strengthening Ecowas' institutional capacity. And they are packaged, they are not separate efforts. They are part of a single strategic vision. A vision where peace, regional integration, and economic opportunities are mutually reinforcing. Because we all know there can be no sustainable development without security, no effective trade without effective institutions, and no peace without inclusive economic growth. At the EU, we are proud to support this vision and the Ecowas efforts in building a safer, more integrated and more prosperous West African region. These initiatives, launched today, address both urgent needs and long-term goals, empowering the private sector, modernizing cross-border trade, supporting regional responses to insecurity, and strengthening the governance of the Commission. At the heart of this effort is a belief in regional solutions to regional challenges. The EU history illustrates that when countries are ready to come together, they are stronger, more resilient, more competitive and more secure. This is why the EU, together with its member states, continues supporting ECOWAS as a driver of peace, a promoter of integration, which to opportunities for citizens and beyond. Peaceful, integrated and prosperous ECOWAS is good for West Africa, good for Africa as a whole, also good for Europe. It is how we build a stable, sustainable and interconnected future together. This event today comes at a defining moment for ECOWAS, 2 points, and expresses our firm belief in the community's relevance in one future as a beacon of democracy, stability, prosperity, and sustainable development. We commend and share ECOWAS' intentions to evolve from the ECOWAS of the states towards an ECOWAS of the people, an ECOWAS for the citizens, as President Touré already nicely put it during the 50th anniversary in Lagos a few weeks ago. And this is a challenge we've also been facing in the EU. And actually our partnership with ECOWAS is focusing on this, ultimately benefiting citizens in West Africa. A lot has already been said, so let me stop here. But beforehand, I would like to thank the ECOWAS management for their vision and leadership, the German and Spanish embassies for the technical
ECOWAS in Peace and Security and Governance Program, which builds on the predecessor phase, that is the EPSG project that ran from 2019 to 2024. You know better than we that we're facing a situation in the region that is facing regional stability, rising security threats penetrating through spillovers into the coastal states, and an increased need for regional coordination. Against that background, we look back to the impact that we were able to achieve together in our partnership. So we heard Dr. Touré speaking about some of the capacity development and measures. So we were able to train over hundreds of peace operations officers in different missions. We were able to establish 5 new prevention centers as well, and I will not go into the detail due to the time, but we also had a focus on youth and policymakers engagement, especially in the context of Sierra Leone. So what's new in EPSG? We see the multitude of partners here. It's a new implementation way together with our partners from Expertise France as well as FIAP. We also were able to widen the scope, so moving away from the focus on just a standby forces, we were able to widen the scope of the program towards including a stronger component on women, peace and security. We also included the 3 training centers as well as a stronger focus on early warning. Like in the other programs, we are also trying to have more tangible results, and for that, this scope was widened to a more in-depth support to the member state level. So that is we find ourselves again here together in 2027, and we look back the type of anticipated results that we would like to look at are shown here across the different core areas. So we would like to see a stronger regional conflict prevention mechanism, as well as more democratic and results-based security sector in the SSSR field. We had a focus on the women and youth, and we also like to work a little bit stronger in terms of the regional training infrastructure. I would leave it at that given that time, and I'm happy to hand over to our partners from Spain and the Spanish implementation agency, ACID, Santiago.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. Well, Your Excellency, dear President, dear Commissioners, ascending all existing protocols.
We want to share.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So with the Vision 2015 gaining momentum on one side and the need to respond to new challenges on the other side, there is a need to consolidate and reinforce the ability of the Ecowas to fund the implementation of transformational policies across the region. And at the same time, in a more complex communication landscape, regional organizations require to strengthen their communication capacity to consolidate their ability to communicate with society. So that is the aim of IC2 project, which continues the success of its predecessor IC1, co-funded by BMZ and the European Union between 2019 and 2023. What's needed? IC2 continues, upscales, and develops the efforts of the ECOWAS Commission to improve its internal processes. It is funded by the EU, the DMZ, and ICID, reflecting a TEO approach. But the project widens its scope, supporting the Commission, but also the Bank and the Gender Development Center. It also adds the commitment to support ECOWAS parent dialogue architecture and communication. So what should we expect? The ECOWAS Commission and ELID will improve the internal systems, passing the ILAR assessment and improving their internal funding. And alongside with that, the Director of External Relations improves communication, planning, and coordination with other institutions and technical and financial partners through thematic groups and other instruments, an effort to which we are all invited to contribute. This improves the ability to better monitor and report impact, including the integration of gender equality into planning, budgeting, and evaluation. And finally, public communication to respond to this information, it will be improved. So in sum, ECOWAS has better instruments to implement its Vision 2015, with more impact and better gender sensitivity.
Thank you. Thank you. Continuing with the sector of trade, I look over here to the Commissioner and the Director. So building on the previous project of WATIP that ran from 2018 to 2024, we are looking at a situation where services are one of the most dynamic and fastest growing sectors of new trade, but still underdeveloped in many income countries. We're also looking over to Accra at the AfCFTA Secretariat, in 2018,
actually that one happened in Kigali, the AfCFTA Protocol on Trade and Services
was launched, and under the overall capacity of regional building frameworks. So looking back at the program period of roughly 10 years, we have seen a remarkable impact on couple of levels. So one of them is the key trade tools that were developed during that time, such as Ecowas Customs Code together in our partnerships, a focus on the trade organization scheme, TRS, and a support towards the common external tariff. Another remarkable achievement together was the amount of trainees for customs officials in the region, amounting to currently 500 officials having been trained, as well as not to neglect the role of women in trade in the region. Specifically to mention maybe the trainees that were given to women traders in Mali and Sandra to enhance the capacity to trade. Looking ahead with the program, a shift has been done towards focusing on integrating trade and services, or focus on specific country measurements that are to be determined together across Commission, as well as a heavy engagement of the private sector in the region and beyond. And with that, we would like to achieve in the program period a clear trade policy priority framework, a stronger focus on institutions related to trade in the region, but also beyond, and contribute towards the competitiveness of the private sector. We do that through developing smarter tools of trade, as well as in the last component that improved a stronger regional coordination mechanism. And that program also goes hand in hand with our multilateral partners because it's anchored on topics that complement each other. And with that, I'm happy to invite our colleagues from the multilateral side to the floor. Chris and Shantu.
There's the EU or Germany, Vice Ambassador for Spain, the Excellency Commissioners of Ecowas Commission, the ambassadors and representatives of from missions, diplomatic missions, distinguished directors, colleagues, partners. Very good morning. I'm very excited and happy to be here today to present the ATCMA, difficult to say, Project Africa Trade Competitiveness and Marketplaces. Project? Hope it works. But you see on the screen. So I want to thank the EU, the African Union, Ecowas, and the partners for this opportunity. I just want to say also that I'm not Mr. Ferb Jansu, who is the new director of EDID. He just arrived in Abuja a couple of days ago, and unfortunately, he's still to present his credentials, and therefore I had to speak for EDID. So thank you very much for your understanding. So thank you, partners from everybody for the opportunity to join forces for the Africa Trade Competitiveness and Market Access Program for Ecowas and the fruitful exchanges during this event. The ATCMA program is indeed a novel program in many senses. It's a Pan-African program with a continental and regional components, such as to Swahili West Africa, backed up by a big vision of partnership between Africa and Europe. It also stands out for its very significant budget of 200 million euros funded by the European Union, out of which the ECOWAS regional program with 50 million euros is one of the biggest components. And I'm happy to be here and so that we'll be implementing this program jointly with our sister agency, ITC. ECOWAS, the EU and EU have embarked more than 20 years ago on a journey to build a trade partnership by creating trust between trading partners through the development of regional quality infrastructure and conformity assessment services that are globally recognized. Today is a further opportunity to celebrate and scale up that trade-related relationship. It is a partnership program built on a joint conviction that the industry and development trade are interlinked, powerful engines for prosperity. It also demonstrates the force of a collaborative ambition between ECOWAS, the EU, EURIDO, ITC, and our African and European technical and private sector partners. The ECOWAS Vision 2050 strongly emphasizes that development goes as its best if it's built on these three pillars of sustainable development: economic, social, and environmental. The same motivation underpins the EU Golden Gateway and Green Deal that lay out the priorities of the EU Commission for the development and partnership initiatives. Responsiveness to climate change, employment creation, in particular for youth, sustainable management, environmental resources are common denominators of both the EU and their respective member states, and reflect the aspiration of their population and their generations to come. Such sustainable development therefore means the long-term partnership for economic development combining social and environmental goals based on mutual understanding and objectives. Industrial development and investment partnerships are of such a long-term perspective and therefore are particularly well suited. They can as well facilitate the transfer of clean, resource-efficient technologies in support to the development of value chains, which in turn will create more local value addition, more competitive SMEs in local, regional, and international markets, and ultimately create sustainable employment. Essentially, ladies and gentlemen, this is precisely what the ATCMA ECOWAS program is about: capacitating West African SMEs' competitiveness and market access through the creation of a level playing field considering economic, social, and environmental sustainability. That way, you can contribute to the goals and aspirations of the African continent free trade agreement. We are really looking forward to delivering the partnership with all of you. And I saw Mr. President was saying we will really make sure that we have a strong focus on delivering to the people. I think you will like Mr. President. We need to really go to the people who need our support and to implement for the people with the people. Thank you very much for your attention.
On behalf of our Executive Director, Mrs. Pamela Cook-Cannington, I extend our warmest congratulations to the Ecowas Commission on its 50th anniversary. Let me also take this opportunity to recognize the strong and growing partnership between the International Trade Center and the Ecowas Commission, especially through the recently concluded EU-funded West Africa Competitiveness Program, WACOM. Together, we have achieved powerful milestones. The launch of the ECOWAS Trade Promotion Organization Network, the establishment of the West Africa Trade Observatory and the ECOWAS Business Council, as well as business generation for over 1.7 million generated businesses for SMEs and also women-led enterprises. They are not just numbers, they are tangible outcomes that matter for entrepreneurs, for jobs, and for inclusive growth. Now we are ready to build on this legacy. The ATCMA ECOWAS chapter, it's not just another program. It's a bold step forward. It aligns, it has been said, with the ECOWAS Vision 2050, with the AfCFTA, and the joint EU-AU Vision 2030. The program goes far beyond the technical assistance by its scale, its ambition, and its partnership. ATCMA is a roadmap for resilience, for opportunity, and for transformation. Our focus is clear: impact for the ECOWAS citizens. So it has been said again by the President, under the ATCMA this time, we will do our best in order to do less workshop, to propose more impact-oriented interventions, to co-create with beneficiaries, and also to promote ownership. We are ready, we are committed, and we are eager to deliver under the innovative ATCMA program, and we thank the ECOWAS Commission as well as the EU to the EU delegation in Abuja for their trust. Thank you very much.
For the citizens in the region on the peace, security, governance issues, and on economy and trade and competitiveness issues to reinforce stability and prosperity in the region. And this is a coordinated effort by Team Europe partners and with several implementing partners. So really a collective effort to support ECOWAS for the benefit of the citizens.
So basically, how is this project going to be implemented together with ECOWAS?
So they will be implemented, as always, when it comes to EU-funded projects, through implementing partners who have the capacities to do this, like GIZ, like Expertise France, FIAP from Spain, UNIDO, ITC, and they will partner with ECOWAS. They've been partnering in the design of the projects, and they will do so in the implementation of these 110 million euros worth projects over the next few years to reach the objectives of having a more integrated region in trade and more capacities for security and peace.
But we are doing this, as was witnessed today, in a Team Europe approach. And this project that we have launched today with an amount of about 110 million euro. About 50% of that was funded by Germany. And as His Excellency Ali Touray said, it is important to make a difference for the people on the ground. And I think this is our ambition, and this is what we have been doing over the last 20 years with our programs, to help the people in ECOWAS member states to improve living conditions, to strengthen trade integration, to strengthen peace and security, in order to move towards a better life for everyone in the member states. And as members of Team Europe and as dedicated Europeans, we know the value of regional integration. We know the strength of a regional organization, that countries can only work together to improve the lives of their people in the region.
Primarily on trade, and we believe trade is an engine for growth, and the support provided by our partners, including the European Union and the implementing partners, is a testament on the priorities we place on this. By empowering our people to trade, to take advantage of market access opportunities, improving the quality of our products is essential for us to really generate employment. There was also a project on services, being a growing percentage of our gross domestic product. How can we take advantage of the non-tangible trade? Business persons, communication, financial, tourism. So this is very important to us, and we're very, very pleased to have launched these 4 overall projects, continuing our long-standing relationship with the European Union and the various member states of the EU and the implementing partners that are here today.
This regional program to support Ecowas. You know, we have a very long history of supporting Ecowas in setting up the regional quality infrastructure system. And that is a system that is up and running and vibrant and sustainable for the Ecowas region. We have worked for more than 1 decade on quality, on standards, on conformity assessment. So we have technical committees running on standards harmonization for the whole region, which is very important to facilitate trade and so that the countries can trade on the same ground. So standards, harmonization of standards, technical regulations harmonized. We have supported laboratories to perform testing. Accredited means internationally recognized tests to the private sector, to the enterprises. And we have now we will build on that infrastructure to further assist MSMEs, in particular, small enterprises, to conform and to compete for priority value chains that are still to be determined. So the ECOWAS Commission, together with the EU and us, we will come to a selection of a couple of value chains, and we will work across the value chains to increase quality, increase conformity, but also create value and diversification of value chains. This is all. So this is a very holistic program. We will really build this capacity of SMEs to trade and to participate effectively in the African Free Trade Agreement.
This program is about trade, it's about regional value chains, it's about industrialization. And for us at ITC, our mandate is to promote trade competitiveness, more specifically to help micro, small and medium-sized companies, women and youth entrepreneurs to connect with market opportunities. And we have a long-standing working relation with the ECOWAS Commission. We are supporting the ECOWAS trade agenda, and under the ATCMA, ITC is going to work on the development of regional value chains, sustainable and inclusive regional value chains, together with UNIDO. What we will be doing is to increase the participation of micro, small and medium-sized companies for them to take advantage of the market opportunities that is being offered by the AfCFTA. By doing that, we are going to help SMEs, small and medium-sized companies, to improve the quality of their offering, the marketing, the branding, and we will help them to connect with market opportunities in the ECOWAS region and outside the ECOWAS region, and in the context, as I said, of this new continental market, but for them also to trade, with outside Africa, with Europe as well, and other regions. So this is really an important program which is going to shape and to transform the way that trade is being done in the ECOWAS and also in Africa globally.